The Cage of Death, The Battle of the Wolves. After a while, they took me to the Cage of Death. One of the guards opened the door to my cage and the second guard opened the main cage, and I entered. I saw the man who had bet on me among those near the cage. He showed me his ticket. I nodded and smiled. He laughed too. Those around him looked at him. Someone said to him, "Good luck. The wolf lady noticed you." Another woman entered the cage. I looked at her. I was not happy, but I had to destroy her. Mike's voice caught my attention. "I bet $10,000, look. This is what you wanted." He showed me a large white cloth in his other hand. I went to the bars. The crowd stepped back. I touched the cloth and said, "That money is in your pocket." The match official said, "Start, ladies and gentlemen, take your seats." A part of the ceiling moved aside and the moonlight appeared. They did this for my opponent and for the creature inside us to wake up sooner. My face was changing and stretching. Nails, long and thick hair appeared, a tail appeared, the crowd screamed. When I was completely transformed, I tore my clothes. The crowd started clapping. I let out a loud howl and prepared to attack. My opponent was also completely transformed. We started to move around in a circle and suddenly we rushed at each other. I tried to give him as many blows as possible with my claws and teeth. We rolled on the ground and bit each other. He was a tough opponent. He bit my shoulder for a moment. I groaned, but I had to win. I had to use the bars of the cage to help me. He was charging at me, and I used the bars as a springboard to jump around, until I finally managed to jump on his back. The crowd and their cheers grew louder. He was now my prey. I bit his back and the back of his neck and hit him with all my strength with my claws. He fell to the floor of the cage. He was still resisting, until finally he was motionless. My face, muzzle, teeth and shoulder were covered in blood. I let out a loud howl and placed my claw on my opponent's body. The spectators stood and cheered me on. Suddenly I realized that he was breathing very weakly. I went to the bars and pointed to Mike. He understood our movements. The match was over. I went to the bars. He passed the cloth through the bars and threw it over my body and made sure, covering me from the neck to the bottom of my body, and walked away from the cage happily. The man came to me and said, "Tonight is the first time I won." I slowly walked forward and rubbed my nose against his hand and he petted me. I got out of the cage. My opponent was also taken out on a stretcher. I returned to my human form. Wrapped the cloth around myself. The parts of the cloth that were on the bleeding wounds turned red. Outside the hall, one of the nurses was busy treating the wounds on my shoulder and body. The wounds were very painful and I wanted to cry. Mike reached out to me and showed me the money and said, "I didn't think so. Do this for me, if you win in other matches. As far as possible and the rules allow me, I will do anything and everything you want for you." I said, "I'm glad you won. Okay, I accept." With the more freedom I had gained, I started checking the exits and the number of guards and security systems. During the matches and the route I was taking, I checked everything and remembered the changes. My problem was telling John about my plan. I couldn't even speak to him in wolf language or sign language, because it was possible that the guard, or the doctor and nurse, or even the women and men next to us, would understand. The best way was to find an intermediary. At 8 o'clock, some guards entered the hall. They passed a hook and a rope that ran along it through one of the rings on the ceiling. They did this when they wanted to punish someone. After a while, Walter entered the hall with the medical staff and 2 guards. We all stood by the bars of the cell. 2 guards brought a stretcher and placed it in the middle of the hall. There was a wolf on it. After throwing the hook into its leg straps, they pulled it up. Its arms were also folded towards its chest and tied to its body with a wide cloth. They placed the stretcher in a corner. The doctor hit him hard in the stomach with his whip-like stick. His voice echoed in the silent hall. The wolf's body bounced in the air under his blow. Walter looked at all of us and said, "This is one of you who escaped from here. But we caught him, we will find the rest, dead or alive, you all belong to me and you are here, I will not let my property get out of my hands. Put this in your ears." He hit him in the stomach several more times with the whip. Suddenly I transformed and attacked the woman next to me and I got into a fight with her. She also transformed in defense of herself, I threw the cell. John also transformed upon seeing this scene and started to growl, everyone transformed.